Hi there. I'm Max Doolin, the founder of the Spokane Cyber Cup, and we're really excited you decided to either take your first step into this or have this be a stepping stone in your cybersecurity journey. This is the seventh year that we're organizing the Spokane Cyber Cup, and as always, we couldn't be more excited about it. We have an awesome set of challenges, volunteers, and everything that is needed to run a good event. When I was trying to learn security, I remember really struggling with it. I remember spending hours upon hours trying to solve challenges only to be frustrated at the end of it. Sometimes I'd look up a solution and be like, why didn't I know that? But other times I'd have no idea what was going on. In both cases, I felt dumb. I just wish I had somebody who kind of nudged me in the right direction and helped me, but I didn't have that at the time. So we created this event in a very particular way to help you guys on your learning journey in cybersecurity. But what is this event anyway? This is a standard capture the flag or CTF competition in the Jeopardy style. Capture the flag is just computer puzzle solving in a lot of ways. This could be hacking a website. This could be open source intelligence and figuring out where someone is located. This could be solving a math problem. There's a lot of different ways that these challenges pop up, and I'll be describing the types of challenges we have in a little bit. But the main difference between this event that I think really makes it special and other events is two main things. The first one is the coaches, and the second one is especially curated challenges. The coaches are industry professionals who are there to guide and teach you and push you in the right direction. If you don't know what SQL is, just ask. A coach will happily explain it to you. If you don't know what SQL injection is, ask. That's the cool thing about this event, is you have coaches that are there to help you. However, they're not there to spoon feed you. The background types of things and the explanations are great, but they're not going to give you the solution. If you're really close to solving something, they'll give you a hint. If you know something very, very well, they'll try to guide you in the right direction. But developing that hacker intuition is so important still. At this year's event, we're expecting a little over 40 coaches, and we have some professionals from Amazon, Meta, Security Innovation, a lot of awesome places. Besides it being a good time to learn, on the hacking side, it's also a really good opportunity to network and learn about the industry as a whole. The second thing is that we have a specially curated list of challenges. We have different categories, which means maybe you're better at web and not as good at reverse engineering. That's totally okay. But there's still a good opportunity to learn. Some challenges are easy, some are hard. But in the previous 6 years, ignore that part of the slide, all challenges have been solved. I'm really proud of that. To me, that says that we're trying hard to make sure everything works, but not making them too difficult either. I went to a CTF where, a third of the challenges weren't solved, and that was a big bummer to me. Now, this is where we start getting the nitty-gritty details of the challenge types. You can't see that one on the right, but I'll explain it. There's kind of different ways you can get the flag. Similar to capture the flag, when you're a kid, we have to run over and grab the football, grab the flag, and run back. There is a secret value, and that secret value looks like this SC7 with a bunch of X's in it. If it's not going to be in that format, it will explicitly tell you that it's not going to be in that format. Sometimes you are awarded with flags. This is when you accomplish a goal. For instance, maybe you need to steal $100 million. If you can steal that money, then you've completed the criteria and you are given the flag. Other times you have to steal it. This would be like a privilege escalation type of challenge. Other times the flag is something you need to derive or calculate yourself. For things like cryptography, where you need to decrypt something, or with an OSINT challenge, you need to find out the location of it. There are many different ways to interact with these challenges. Sometimes it's just a website. Other times it's SSH or secure shell where you're logging into a machine interacting with a binary. Sometimes it's Netcat. In the case of Netcat, this is a very raw connection and requires a specific tool called Netcat to interact with. It's effectively a binary program, like you think I'm executing a Python script, that you can interact with remotely. And the final interaction type is just a prompt. This could be a multitude of things. So I'm going to show you what all those different types look like. The first one I'll show is the SSH challenge. So if you see at the bottom of the screen here, we can see that we need to log into this machine. We have to specify a particular port, a username, and then the domain, and the actual competition. All this will be set for you though. So in this case, the password is the same as the username, no char. If I could type things in correctly. Sometimes usernames won't have passwords in this though. So if you look at this, I can make that a little bit bigger, I suppose. If we try to like remove everything, we don't get it. If you just try to cat the flag, we also don't get it. This is because we have to interact with this challenge. And I already know the solution to this, so I'm just going to do it. But the point being is we have to interact with the system until we are able to get the flag in some way. The flag is restricted behind this binary. This binary is what's using, or what's called a set UID permission, meaning that this binary has access to a different user. And when we run it, we get access to that user's permissions. However, we can't just cat the flag because of that. So we have to use this binary and trick it to get the flag for us. So here I'm going to use our exploit. Again, this is a previous year's challenge, so we don't really need to know what's going on here. But now we can see the user's changed. So the exploit was successful, and now we can cat the flag. So you can see here that we have this flag, and this is actually what you'd return to the scoreboard, which is what keeps track of your points. The next type of challenge we can talk about is the web. So with the web challenge, we need to interact with the website to do something. In this case, we're actually specifically stealing the flag. We can see here that this is going to execute some command. And this is a command injection challenge, not really relevant, but you can see that here that we did something that gave us the flag. These are two instances where we had to steal the flag. This is actually just giving us a flag for a system we're not supposed to have shell access on. And this is another instance of stealing it. The final one here is the netcat. So I'm going to use a NC. Sometimes this is just netcat. On my machine, it's NC though. And this is the domain, and then this is the port. When I interact with it, it looks like just a standard CLI, and we can do things like log in and interact with it and such. In this case, once we've logged in as admin, it would give us a flag, and this is an example of us being given the flag for completing a particular criteria. But I don't think that's necessary to show exactly. So we've seen a steal, we've seen it get awarded, and then with calculating, I think that's kind of the other miscellaneous type of category. We saw the web, the SSH, the netcat, and the prompt is again the other type of category. So for this event, we have rules, just like all good things do. My main focus of this event has always been on learning. If you don't know what's going on or you're confused about something, what you should or shouldn't do, just ask yourself, am I focusing on learning here? To me, the real winners are the people who learn the most, not the people who actually win the event. I'm excited to announce winners and such, but these are the true winners in my mind. Use your brain. Again, you're learning here. Keep the answers to yourselves. So, of course, within your team, you can share and talk as much as you want, but if you go to a school with 20 people and you guys are sharing answers and flags, that'd be pretty unfair. So even if you know somebody, try not to give them hints unless they're on your team. Be nice. Pretty simple rule. Now, because I want people to focus on their learning and their brain, I don't like things that allow you to turn that off. A really good example right now is LLMs. LLMs are so good, they could probably solve over half these challenges. And that kind of makes me sad because it's becoming harder and harder to get that baseline level of knowledge. But if you don't obtain the baseline level of knowledge yourself, then you'll never surpass LLMs because you'll always be relying on them. No automated scanners, so things like Burp Suite Intruder, things shouldn't be used, and please don't attack infrastructure. Now, I do have some general tips before we go into some more logistical things. If the challenge is worth more points, the challenges are worth different amounts of points, then it's a higher difficulty. So it's really tempting to go for the high point challenges, but bear in mind it's going to be hard. So I recommend starting with easier challenges and working way up in difficulty. Some of the challenges are tiered, and you'll see a 1 out of 4, 2 out of 4, or something like that. And those are really good challenges for learning. For instance, this year there's a SQL injection series, and you go from a really basic SQL injection to blind SQL injection, which is awesome. So you get to progress from not knowing what SQL injection is to becoming an expert in it. So I really recommend doing these sorts of tiered challenges because they're really good for learning. The prompts are helpful. Just read. It's nothing that complicated. Use the coaches. The coaches are there to help you. Keep that in mind. Take your breaks. Your brain's gonna be pretty fried after trying to do this for so long because you're gonna be so focused. So if we announce a break, please take it. That includes lunch as well. And focus on learning. Yet again, who knew? So the schedule of the event looks like this. We have check-in from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. If you arrive a little bit early, I might be there, but not really a need. At 9 to 9:30, we'll have opening statements. So I go over some of these rules again. From 9:30 to 11, we'll hack. We'll have a quick break, and then we'll hack some more. We'll then have lunch and a panel from some of my friends in the industry. We'll then hack, take a break, hack, and then we'll have closing ceremonies where we'll announce awards and recognize coaches and students that we enjoyed. So even if you're not in like the top 3 of the divisions, I still recommend going because it's cool to hear how the event went and people's favorite moments. So this year the event is hosted at Gonzaga University, and it's hosted at the Jepson Center, aka the Graduate Business Building. Here I have the parking structure. This red is where we're supposed to park at, but this is by a building called Junt, and Jepson is this one here. I will be attaching a location for you to park and a location of the actual venue and an email that you've probably already seen at this point. For parking, Jepson is right here. So park in this giant parking lot and you won't get charged anything or get a ticket. If you need a better point of reference, it's north of the Junt Art Museum at Gonzaga. Did I miss anything I should have talked about? There are 2 divisions in this event as well. The divisions are actually completely the same besides who you're competing against. The challenges are the same, the coaches are the same, everything's the same. So I tend to just separate it by classmen. So if you're an upperclassman, I put you in that division. If you're a lower classman, I put you in the lower division. When you start the event, you'll want to put your team's information to the scoreboard, and I will also include that in an email that I will send after opening ceremonies. But let's have some good vibes, focus on learning, have a good time, and here is a flag for you. This will be the first challenge you have to solve. So if you have questions, feel free to send me a message at the email that you've probably already received. But I'm really excited for another good year. Let's learn a bunch and hack the planet some more. Thanks, everyone.